to address the House for 5 minutes to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, gentleman from Iowa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my privilege to be recognized to address you here on the floor of the House of Representatives. And I rise to honor this week to celebrate what actually took place on Monday, the 28th of October, OXI Day, the 79th anniversary. And I wanted to address this because of the strong spirit of the Greek people who rose up against the Axis powers 79 years ago this week, when a representative of Hitler's Axis powers, who happened to be the minister from the Italians, arrived at the residence of the Greek leader, Metaxas, and demanded that they surrender Greece to the Italians and the Axis forces. There, Metaxas looked him in the eye and said boldly and strongly, "Ohi," which is Greek for no. That's the most resounding no that I know of in history, Mr. Speaker. That resounding no inspired the Greek people. Within hours, the Italian and the Axis forces had started their invasion of Greece. And they were overconfident. They thought they would waltz in because they had all kinds of military firepower. But what they underestimated was the tenacity of the Greek fighters, their knowledge of the terrain, and defending their own soil. They were defeated, and the Greeks chased the Italians back to Italy, which forced then Adolf Hitler to divert 5 divisions down to Greece and down through the Balkans and into Greece to put down they called it a revolution or a resurrection. What it really was inspired people defending their country, the very cradle of democracy. And as Hitler diverted the 5 divisions down to Greece, he was already planning Operation Barbarossa. And I want the body to know, Mr. Speaker, that the original date for the invasion of Russia under Operation Barbarossa by Hitler and his Nazi forces put together was scheduled to be May 12th, the following spring. This is late October, the last days of October. So when he diverted his 5 divisions down to suppress what he said was the resurrection in the Balkans, which was the Greeks defending the cradle of freedom, that delayed his ability to invade into Russia. And this tenacious battle on the part of the Greeks. Now, I should also put it into context here that no one expected such a small nation to derail this unstoppable Axis forces. And they had watched as the Axis forces had gone through Czechoslovakia and Poland and Romania and France and down through the Balkans, and it looked like that those Axis forces were going to sweep over the world. It didn't look like there was much hope for the United Kingdom and the British Empire across the Channel. And when you think about the inevitable clash that was going to take place between the Nazis and the Russians, that would have been the clash that would have determined which power ruled the world, coupled with Japanese imperialism, America isolated as a lone island sitting over here on this continent in the Western Hemisphere. Awfully tough to battle on both sides when you've got the resources of the globe lined up against you. The future of America may well have turned in that battle as well, Mr. Speaker. And so I rise to honor and support and with awe celebrate the Greek fighters who, George Barris writes, as Hitler learned, Greeks can be stubborn against all odds. Ohi, the word no in Greek, may sound like a negative, but it's become the most positive word in the language. It suggests the independence of a small nation when confronted by selfish demands of much larger nations, a close quote. And I'd point out that if Hitler had been able to launch Operation Barbarossa May 12th, he was delayed 5.5 weeks. Those 5.5 weeks would have given him time to take Stalingrad and take Moscow before the bitter Russian winter. That would have changed the entire course of the war. The Greeks did it twice for us, in Crete and then again in OXI Day, starting those 79 years ago this week. I'm awfully proud of the spirit of the Greeks, and I'd like to close, Mr. Speaker, with this quote from Winston Churchill, which says, in the aftermath of the battles, the Greek battles against the Nazis, Winston Churchill said this: "Hence, we will not say that Greeks fight like heroes, but that heroes fight like Greeks." Let us honor them, and we're a nation that is descended from the democracy that was formed in Greece. We modified it to a constitutional republic and did a little improvement on it, but we can use a lot of Greeks in this country. They understand freedom, and they're great fighters. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back the balance of my time.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Jaya.